George, you must be excited and finally relieved to have put pen to paper.
Yeah, it's really nice to know what's going to happen now. The fight's been up in the air for a while. We knew it was going to happen, but to have an actual solid date in mind, to know that it's going to be in London, is really nice.
Obviously, there's a lot of rivalry we saw at the press conference. Does that give you a sort of mental sort of spur on?
Not necessarily. I think his idea of tactics is to try and rattle my cage, to talk nonsense, and to just to make me just be obsessed with hurting him. You
seem quite calm and composed. Is that sort of your nature?
Yeah, that is my nature. I knew I had to. There's no point in me trying to trash talk. I don't need to try and sell this fight. This fight sells itself. So I'm just going to be myself. That's what's going to work for me. I'm going to stay calm and composed, because technically he doesn't stand a chance. The only chance he stands is if I become emotionally invested in the fight and start throwing punches because I want to hurt him, because I don't like him, which I think is his main attribute. Other opponents in the past, you could see it's almost like a light switch. They switches on, and then they would just want to hurt him because he's pulling stupid faces and he's strutting around the ring. But that won't bother me in the slightest. I think once he's in the ring on his own, he hasn't got his trainer pumping him up, it's going to be a different story.
Obviously you beat him at amateur level. Do you feel that gives you the edge in the fight?
Technically that has no relevance, but mentally, yes. Mentally still the same person. He's just got very good at with his self-confidence and belief. That's because of the people around him. That's because he has a gold medal from a few years ago that he sort of relies on and talks about. But has he got the minerals that when we're in there and you've got to dig deep and you've got to work, and it's all or nothing? His pride and his ego will take him so far because he doesn't want to be embarrassed. But that's going to also make him make the wrong selection and box and change his style wrong. And when it comes down to it, I'm going to dig deeper and I'm going to get the victory.
How detrimental do you think it could be for either of your careers to have a defeat to this?
I haven't thought about what it's going to be like if I get defeat, because I never think about getting beat. But for him, I genuinely believe it will be a career-ending fight, because his whole style is based upon his invincibility that he feels of, and I think mentally he's not strong. And once he gets exposed, then where does he go from there? We've seen other great fighters who have got unbeaten records, and as soon as they get beat, they lose that sort of invincible sort of armory. They don't know how to deal with the fact that they're not the best, and that's what's going to happen to James DeGale.
You obviously heard Jim McDonnell was quite vocal and said that it wasn't your time and you weren't ready to fight James DeGale. What's your take on that?
That's just him saying what he needs to say, what he thinks is the right thing to say. It doesn't mean that it's correct. I don't know why everyone's talking about James DeGale as if he is an established fighter. He's not. He's had less fights than me. He's had one win of note, and that's the lot. Apart from that, he hasn't done anything. And the fact that they're talking about him like he's a Hall of Famer is quite scary, because it's just more delusion coming from their camp.
Obviously, with your training camp, are you going to change any sort of tactics or regime from your previous fighters for James, or it's going to stay the same?
Apart from the fact we got southpaws, no, nothing else really. I know what I've got to do to beat James. I don't need to go into too much detail. James has already given away the idea of what he's going to do to try and beat me. He couldn't change his tactics anyway, because he is what he is. All he's going to try and do is get me to not box how I should be boxing, and that's to fight with emotion, rush in and try and knock him out. You heard him say, I'll knock you out in 4 rounds, but you've got to come and fight me. You've got to come fight me, ugly kid. It's just so that he hopes, and he will be hoping, that I'm going to rush in and leave myself exposed, swinging, and he's going to try and flappy-dappy slap me in between.
He's obviously very vocal with his sort of insults towards you, ugly kid being a notable one. How does that bother you in the slightest, or does that just give you more sort of confidence and ammunition back?
Sometimes when you get insults, it's good to give them back. It's all. I like to take it in good humour, but this time it's just a pure tactic on his part. So there's no point in me giving him more, because it's just like I'm rising. I'm sort of stooping to his level. I don't need to do that. If it was really intellectual and quite clever and quite witty, then I'd think fair play. Let me come back with something. But the fact he's called me ginger. Wow, I've been getting ginger since I was 9, I think, and he's called me ugly, which is okay, slightly more original, but I've got a fiance. I ask my mum enough times, say, Mum, am I ugly? She says, no, you're not ugly, Josh, don't worry.
That's right, you can always judge your mum's opinion.
Exactly, yeah. And my nans are brilliant. You know, you can always rely on your nan for whatever positive feedback you need. Your nan will deliver it. So if it really does start to bother me, which I very much doubt it will, I've always got my nans to fall back on.
Nans and mums the best. We spoke to Adam earlier. He said you were going to go over to Miami to train for a bit. Have you been to Miami before to training?
Yeah, I was out in Miami before my last fight, training with David, and you can't complain out there. They've got everything you want.
Great lifestyle.
Exactly, everything we got in London, just they got a bit more sun, and it is nice to train with the sun on your back.
I was going to say, does that actually, I know it sounds like a small factor, but does that make a massive difference? You know, literally waking up and it's sunny every day as opposed to waking up and it's snowing and it's raining.
100%. You know, how often do you wake up in the morning and you don't want to get out of bed because it's freezing? You hide under the duvet for 10 minutes, and you know you do that in London. In Miami, I was waking up with no duvet. I slip my shorts on. I'm straight out the door for a run. It's easy. It's happy. You know, you feel good. Vitamin D, you can't beat it. I remember Linford Christie telling me that he worked out that the only difference between him and other top sprinters, this is at the time when he was at his peak, that the only difference that they had between the two of them was that they trained in warm climates. So he went to a warm climate, all of a sudden his times just started, getting quicker and quicker. And it's because you warm up times less. You feel good, you're happy, you're smiling. It's the same in London. When it's a sunny day, everyone's smiling. They've got their sunglasses on. Everyone's happy. When it's raining and it's miserable and it's cold and it's sleet, no one wants to leave the house today.
Obviously, you're very close to David Hay, and he's out in Miami now, and you'll be training with him. How much of a sort of a mentor and a coach is he towards you? What do you learn from him?
David's fantastic, and he really goes the extra mile. Like when I was in Miami last time, he was like my trainer out there. He was bandaging my hands, giving me tips in between sparring. Same as Roy Jones. Roy Jones was in the gym. Roy Jones saying, "Hit him with this one, hit him with that one." It was amazing. I feel pleased, and it's easy for me to sort of take it for granted. But when you walk into the gym, you walked into the Fifth Street gym in Miami, and fighters are like that looking
Impressive.
At David, and David's like, "Come here, let me bandage your hands," and they're like, "Wow, this kid must be good if David's bandaging his hands." So having David, he's got a wealth of experience. He's boxed all over the world. He's been a pro for a long time.
Looking forward to his Klitschko fight?
Oh yeah, I can't wait for his Klitschko fight. I'm pretty 99% sure I won't be boxing that night, because usually I always try and sneak on his undercards, but this time I won't be. So I'll
sit there as a fan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll tell him though I will have to be ringside because I'm your lucky ringside charm. So as long as that I'm there, I'm happy.
Great, thanks so much for talking to us, and we look forward to May 21st.
Cheers.
Thanks.